Okay, today is another printmaking day, and today's art is gonna be an art that I've done before, but on a smaller scale. I'm gonna attach a photo somewhere, but today I want to make a slightly bigger size. I was thinking of making it quite iconic in the sense of like how the Berlin Wall is. So this is the art that I'm gonna be doing today, and this is inspired or actually gotten this art from the intro of a Netflix TV show called The Boyfriends, and I feel like this one is as printmaking-ish as I can, and also it kind of skewed towards graphic art, which I find that is quite beautiful. So that's why I wanted to create this. Previously, I made it like a teal, like a bright turquoise kind of color. This time around, I'm going to change the color a little bit to maybe a little bit more red to signify love. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. So I just transferred all this and it looks really good. Instead of carving out the whole entire piece, I think I'm gonna be carving out the outlines of this and then potentially gonna cut off, and this is the black part is just gonna be the remaining parts that I want to be printing out. So instead of the whole entire piece that I'm gonna be inking, it's gonna be just a cut out of a piece, which you're gonna see later. There are also days like this that sometimes you just don't get a lot of inspiration, or perhaps the inspiration was books that you did in the past, and what you actually do is that you just reimagine them and then recreate them into ways that maybe you have not created before. Because ultimately, what I think is that art doesn't need to be confined into using people's work or even your own work. Sometimes it can be just recreating and reimagining how you want your art portrayed. So even though that this art is something that I've done before in a much smaller scale, it's still a new piece after all, and I'm still creating new things because there are definitely new things that we learn. So there are challenges that I faced when I was doing a smaller piece, probably like 1/8 of the size of this. And I think there are definitely potential difficulties when I'm going to be doing this one as well. So with that, I'm going to be carving this out and we can see how this works out for me. yep, the plan works as what I expected, which is I cut up all the other pieces with the empty pieces, and now I'm left with this. I think one thing I regretted doing was that I cut out the empty spaces first, and then I carve, which made it really hard to carve out areas like this because it's really, really flimsy. I should have done it the other way, which I carved enough first, then I cut off the excessive areas. And now that I am done with this, I'm gonna be inking this and see how this works out. Hopefully it works out pretty fine. There was also an incident that I had, is that I over carved one of the areas, and I also accidentally pierced myself. And it's not very pleasant to have myself to injure myself or at all. And you know, this is the thing about printmaking, is that we have to be really careful because all these are really sharp tools. And with that, let me just ink this and see how this works. I just finished the print and it turns out a lot more beautiful than I thought. This is the exact thing that I want to do. Initially, I want to do red color because I want to show deep love. But in the end, I chose the pink because I want to depict soft love instead of like deep love instead. I think it depicts a bit better and portrays a bit better on how I feel for this particular print. There are some things that I like, which is how the silhouette turns out, how the shapes really organically form and put together to a piece like this. What I don't like is I actually made a mistake. If you can tell over here, there is a particular error that I made, and this is the part that I accidentally print out. So it made it a bit harder to hide this part, and I feel like in the future I would like to be a little bit more patient when it comes to making this one. I also think that there are some parts, like the one that were inked. I think those parts can also be removed before I print this out. But after all, I think overall I am really happy with how this print works out. I will probably redo this one again, and in the next one I will definitely be a lot more patient with my class and how everything should be printed out. There's also the other thing, which is the remaining parts that I have left, which is all these parts that I cut out. This one, I'm gonna be using them as my future pieces, and I have a few thoughts that I want, like the things I really want to do for my future pieces, and all these scraps are gonna be something that I'm gonna be using a lot. So if you want to see what I'm gonna be doing, stay tuned. and I will be making prints on this really soon. But I hope you enjoy seeing the process of me making this. This is not entirely new. This is something that I've done before, and I will do it again because prints like this are always very fun, very rewarding, and things like this are something that you and I would probably love. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy this, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!